Hi, I'm Kelly Dillon. This is my husband, Sean Dillon, and we live in the Grant Village of Willisford in Ashburn, Virginia.
We have a street with about 10 different projects going on, all building really fantastic backyards. We did a lot of interviews and asked a lot of friends about their experience with different companies. As we were getting started, we really wanted to look around and find the right company that fit for us. So we actually interviewed a bunch of those different companies. All of our neighbors who had had really positive experiences had their projects delivered on time, and their backyards just looked fantastic.
So Sean and I had a vision of what we wanted to enjoy in our backyard, but of course, not being professionals, we didn't know how to bring this all together. We spent a lot of time, over a year, interviewing different companies, talking about what we wanted for our backyard. And really towards the end of that process is when we started talking scapes. And Josh just brought our project to life. And more importantly, he brought it to life in a way that we couldn't even imagine. He just greatly enhanced our vision, and his creativity stood out from the crowd of other people we were talking to. We were really impressed with where the pricing came in. And to me, one of the things that was very important was how responsive he was. And every time he said he was going to call us, send an email, send the proposal, he was communicating throughout the entire process and meeting our needs and our expectations. And surprisingly to us, there were a lot in this industry that weren't. And this is part of the evaluation process, is the communication before you even sign on such a big project. So then going into building and meeting the needs that we had, we were so excited throughout this whole process, working with the other teams, the project managers, the crew. It's just amazing what they were able to build for us, and we are so happy.
Yeah, once they broke ground with Fred and the team on the project, they were phenomenal. It was a really seamless handoff between Josh and Fred from a design perspective to a delivery perspective. And that same customer care, that same high touch was there throughout the process. Every time we had a question, every time we had a concern, every time I was losing my mind because something didn't look right to me, they explained why they're professionals and why I'm the consumer, and it all worked out really well. But it was very educational all the way through. Even in the design phase, when Josh kind of adjusted our design, we had a whole lot of paper napkins that we wrote sample designs on. And we kind of knew what we wanted the structure for the project to look like. We knew kind of what the layout should be. But Josh brought that theme to life, and he was educating us along the way, telling us why he might have moved this or that, why he had leading lines here and there, and how things would come to life in the delivery of the project. And that was fantastic. But that did stop in the design phase. When we got into delivery with Fred and with Kim, with Tyler and the whole crew, they did the same thing all along the way. Every time there was something going in, every time there was a piece of the delivery happening, they were explaining what was going on. They were talking what was coming next. It was a really fantastic process all the way through.
I think it's also important to point out that when you're working on a scale of a project like this, it could be really scary. My husband and I, the only thing we've ever built in our backyard, quite frankly, was a deck in our previous home. So to take on this size project, we had to have tremendous faith in the company that we were hiring to do the work, because unlike building a deck, you don't know all of the things and you don't know what to expect. And that was why we really needed to have high confidence level with the company that we signed on with. And they just exceeded our expectations.
Yeah, so our favorite part of the project, my wife likes to pause me every time I ask her what her favorite is, because it's hard to put a single answer into that kind of question, especially for a project of this scope and scale. I think that having the project delivered kind of in the early fall, one of the things both Kelly and I were super excited about was football season. Having friends, having family come over. Sundays are dedicated from early morning until late night. We're all watching football, and while we're watching football, we're in the pool swimming, we're sitting on the sun deck watching TV, we're in hot tub watching the football game going on or hanging out. I'm over in the outdoor kitchen smoking food or cooking food or making drinks. It's really just about communing. It's really been a fantastic time, and we get to leverage every piece of the backyard in order to have that kind of experience.
It is hard to answer a question like that when we did get this delivered in the fall, because I know that a year from now, I'm going to have 10 more things to add to the list. One thing I'm looking forward to in the spring and the summer is that Josh really heard me on a landscape design perspective and how important plants were to me. I think my husband would have hardscaped the whole backyard, but I really wanted greenery and plants. And part of my garden is really a cutting garden for next year for making flower arrangements in the home or out here. So I'm really excited about that. I also love the NFL. So we are out here, like Sean said, constantly with football Thursday night. The great thing about the fall is that Josh designed this with heaters in here. So even in these chilly fall nights, we are out here with these heaters and we are so comfortable. So we know we're going to be out in the pavilion year round. And while it's probably not an exciting feature, I love that we have these pergolas, and the dining area that we have is just fantastic. We have a dining table that seats 8. We can close the pergola if the sun is too bright, but it's really fun to just gather with friends and have dinner out here. There's a tremendous amount that goes into designing and building something like this. Water is one of the things, the flow on the land, and the attention to detail to make sure that they took everything into account. Building something like this for us was really, really impressive. From the start of the process with Josh answering all of our questions, coming up with a creative design, we were happy with the pricing, then followed through with the construction and working with their entire crew, them delivering ahead of time. Everything was just amazing. And they exceeded our expectations with service, pricing, their understanding of the project and the end result.